Why, hello. It has been a long time since I have jumped on here to talk, to share, to muse, to tete-a-tete, to yarn, to chat, to converse, to talk to myself. Uh, yes, I've thought this week that maybe I should have these conversations with another human being. It might be a little bit more entertaining. That said, can't help myself, love to talk, need to talk, have to talk. Uh, a lot of my friends are a bit over my 30-minute voice notes at the moment, so we need to divert our attentions here. So here we are. I have been MIA, not that anyone cares or noticed. I have been MIA because my baby brother got married, so we took April off, spent a lot of time with family, and then I have been focusing on a complete revamp of my practice of my business. So that has required a lot more time and energy. And we do not experience burnout, people. So we have hit pause on this. And now that the revamp is coming to a close and we are okay with this, with the revamp, it's looking okay. We are now jumping back on this thing. So speaking of burnout, and I don't experience burnout, that's what I believe it is. Now, for those, I understand there are people that for socioeconomic reasons, social justice reasons, stupid boss reasons, uh, business is really shit reasons. I understand there are people that are experiencing burnout that is unavoidable and that is outside of their control. Their control? Well, it's outside that zone of what they can control. So let's take that and let's park that because that's not what I want to talk about today. I'm not talking about the burnout that you can't control. I'm here to talk about the burnout that you can control. Now, there's two types of burnout that I've experienced in life. One is a physical kind, and I said bye-bye to that in 2012. Literally said bye-bye to that. Now, I have been in employment after 2012, and then I have been running my own business for a couple of years, and I have had a whole lot of life stuff just being thrown into the mix. Some not nice life stuff. But despite all those big career changes and the not so nice life stuff, I have not experienced burnout due to workload since 2012. What I have experienced is emotional burnout. So this is burnout from shitty clients. This is, and by shitty clients, I mean the white supremacy kind. I have experienced burnout from not enough money in the bank. Know what that feels like? Absolutely, 100%. I have experienced burnout from back when I was working in a job. Managers that just want to micromanage you and police you and watch you and correct everything you say and that you do. The emotional, mental games that are involved in that, the ickiness, the yuckiness, like I have experienced emotional burnout from that. I've also experienced emotional burnout from just a pure shittiness of life. Now, it's not very motivational for someone that is a motivational speaker. And the reality is life can be really, really shit. And it can be really yuck and terrible. And life was never, I always say life was never promised to be easy, but it was promised to be worth it. So I believe that when we say that we're burned out, we need to really look at what is causing, what is driving that burnout. I think saying burnout for the sake of saying burnout is useless and is absolutely futile. What we need to be diving into is what is driving that burnout. So even if you are in a work situation, even if you are employed in a job or a defined role, or maybe even, reporting into a company through being a contractor, that is essentially operating like a role or some kind of employment, really look at where that burnout is coming from, because the burnout may not be coming from the workload. The burnout may be coming from the office politics. It may be coming from discrimination in the workplace. It may be coming from maybe some of the additional pressures that's being placed in your life that are coming from more of a personal perspective. Personal, not perspective, personal area in your life. Maybe that's where the burnout is coming. So absolutely, managers and employers are responsible for burnout that is due to workload. They are not responsible for, this might sound a bit, what's that word? Not political. I don't know. Who knows what it is? This may not sound correct for everyone. But managers and employers are not responsible for all the burnout that we experience as well. There has to be some kind of line where we take control and autonomy. So, for example, one of the last jobs that I had, I was experiencing burnout. Like, the workload was not that high. I could do what was asked of me to do in a work week. I could literally sit and do in 1 to 3 days. So I was twiddling my fingers. Now, my manager saw that I was twiddling my fingers, and I kept asking her for more work, and she kept giving me zero additional work because she wanted to hold on to everything and do everything. At the same time, she saw me twiddling my thumbs and was like, this isn't right. We need to give Winifred more work. And so she made a lot of comments, was acting in a way that was not great. And so I made the decision to leave. Now, they tried to negotiate and asked me to stay for an extra 6 weeks. I said, see you later. That's what I said. Now, was I financially set up to say, see you later? No. I was. I did save up. So I have this, every person that I coach, whether you run a business or whether you have a job, I always say this, which I practice myself, always have a runway of 6 months living expenses of cash stacked and stored somewhere. So it can give you the power to leave. That said, there was a point in my life where I was unemployed for 3.5, almost 4 years. And so even leaving that job felt high risk because I didn't know how long I would be unemployed for, because I hadn't done this before. I had said, see you later, goodbye, and upped and left, only to realize that I would find it really difficult to find a job. One of the reasons I moved from using my middle name to my first name, I believe that is one of the reasons, because Winifred is a lot more ethnic sounding than Michelle Bonny. Sounds very Anglo-Saxon, very Western, very white. So I believe that is one of the reasons. And then the other reason is when you become a senior executive, there's very few roles in the job pool, and they're highly competitive, and a lot of people tend to get tapped on the shoulder. So that's one of the reasons why I believe I was unemployed for almost 4 years. And found it really, really difficult because of the name change. And then once you become a CEO, nobody wants to hire you for anything other than a CEO job, which I did not want to do again. So anyway, we weaseled our way into government and found ourselves this job. I was not a CEO. I was at a senior level though, reporting into an executive. So I don't know if she felt all sorts of funny things about me, but I decided, I'm like, look, those 3.5, 4 years that I was unemployed, I somehow managed to land on my feet. I can do it again. So yes, I did have 6 months worth of savings. It took me an enormous amount of time to save that up, but I saved it up and I thought, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to run. I'm going to leave this stinking job. So I did that. And then as a result, I actually ended up starting my own practice, and best decision I ever made in my life. Because now I don't report to nobody. So when it comes to burnout, for me, even looking at that job, it was not the workload. Yes, I was twiddling my thumbs. So it definitely wasn't workload. It was the office politics. But when I look at, when my position before that, when I was a CEO, I saved that company from becoming bankrupt. I got it back in the financially. I hit, with CEO positions, you'll have set KPIs that are contracted in. And my contract was for 2 years. I hit 80% of those KPIs in less than 6 months. Now, was I burnt out from workload? No, I was burnt out from all the hoo-ha that was going on in the board that needed some sorting out. And just a lot of politics. So, which is a reason why I left that role. Which is not, unfortunately not uncommon at that level, which is why I didn't want to do that job anymore. So when it comes to burnout, we need to really understand what is the root cause of that burnout. And I think a lot of the burnout that is experienced in jobs is not always about the workload. It is actually all the other stuff that is going on. It's about the culture of the organization. That said, we need to be very clear and distinctive about what the organization is responsible for in terms of emotional and mental burnout, and what we are responsible for. Because definitely what I've seen in my work in coaching people, in running training for teams, and having conversations with people after I've just done a keynote about their experiences at work, or what my keynote has sparked in their mind about, sometimes it brings stuff up for people in terms of how they could have done things a little bit differently in the previous role, or maybe in their current role. When I've had conversations with people in a whole range of different contexts, one of the things that I know to be true is that sometimes when we experience emotional mental burnout in the workplace, it isn't always because of a situation or because of a person. It's because a situation or a person has pulled out, has triggered stuff that is unaddressed in ourselves that we are responsible for. So Dr. Paige Williams says there is what's yours to own and what's mine to own. And I really like that phrase, because what's your shit to own and what's my shit to own? And the only person that can know that is you. So when there are situations in the past where people have said things that have, grinded up on me the wrong way, I have really sat back and thought, what is theirs to own and what is mine to own? And a lot of the situations actually been my stuff to own. They can own their crappy behavior. Their crappy behavior's got nothing to do with me. That's theirs to own. They can own it. They can take it. They can lug it all the way back home and sleep with it at night if they want to. Doesn't belong to me. And I'm definitely not going to take it off them. And I don't have to sit here and dwell on it and think about it and muse on it and rant about it and talk about it till the cats come home or till the dogs come home, whatever that phrase is. I don't need to do that. So developing emotional mental resilience, I hate that word. Anti-fragility is the word that I like better, and anti-fragility is very different to resilience. But developing the ability to be very distinct and very clear about what's your stuff and what's my stuff, I think is really key in the workplace. So I hope that helps and serves you today. I don't know if it will. I've been feeling a bit of FOMO actually lately. Everyone says that they're busy. I'm like, I don't feel busy. Wish I felt busy. But at the same time, I don't want to be, because life was not made to feel busy. Life was made to be lived. And if you're in a line of work that serves you, you might feel physically tired, but you don't feel burnt out. That's a distinction. Anyway, hope that helps and serves you. Much love to you. Take what serves you, throw out the rest. Not everything is going to gel with you. Not everything's going to be applicable, contextual, nuanced to your life experience, your identity, your views and opinions of the world. That said, if something grinds up on you the wrong way, then I encourage you to sit on that. Because I always believe that if something feels uncomfortable, then that's your brain telling you to dive into that. Now, if your conclusion from that is like, hey, what with us is a bunch of shit, that's okay too. That's totally fine. I'm not a guru. I'm just out here on the streets doing it tough like everyone else, okay? I'm just out here on the streets trying to be a better person, run a better business, to serve people better. And I acknowledge that I'm a flawed human being that is imperfect, living in a very imperfect world. And I can do and be better. I fully acknowledge that. Much love to you. Have a wonderful rest of the week.